It is 6 days into the month of March, the third month of the year. I don't know where this year is running to, particularly this month. We were just here last week, or just the other day, and of course we are back with yet another installment of the summit, and we are now in session. Thank you so much for making time. You're watching us from your devices. We want to say thank you for the sacrifice. You bought your bundles and also charged your device to just be able to tune in to this particular show. We want to say thank you and appreciate you so much. If you're watching us from your homes, thank you for inviting us in your living rooms. We do not take it for granted, and we hope that we will actually live to your expectations in terms of the delivery of the conversation that we're about to have right here tonight. Murakoze Chane. This is the summit. We are live every Wednesday, 9 p.m. I'm not alone in this particular program. We have guests who are joining us from far and wide. If you can see that particular screen right there, you'll be able to see a guest who's joining us all the way from Nairobi, Kenya, and she's none other than Patience Nyanje. She'll definitely joining us from there. We also have guests who are right here in studio. I'll be talking a bit about them, but before that, I always say that this program is not just about me here. It's our program, and it's one of the most interactive shows in the continent. I want to believe so, and if I'm not correct, please correct me on that, but I believe so because we always open the platforms for you to be able to engage with us, and of course we've opened our social media platforms. And if you're on the X platform, the hashtag to use as always is the Summit RW. Just go right there and be able to talk to us. Of course, it makes it easier for us to be able to track those particular comments that you'll be sharing. This show tonight is a must watch because we are talking about a very interesting conversation, and it's coming at a very good time, of course, as we celebrate our women throughout this particular month. Not just because of that, but because it's a conversation we must have. Now, we are also live on YouTube. You can definitely go on the YouTube platform and be able to comment either on the chat box section, and I'll be able to come through and be able to read some of your comments. So start talking to us, and then we'll be able to engage you in the course of this particular program. If you're joining us for the very first time, if you're hearing this voice for the first time or seeing me for the first time, as always, my name is Eugene Anangwe. Thank you so much for joining us. In studio, like I said, I'm not alone. I have people who are joining us right here in studio, and they've also been able to play a role or two on this particular subject, and we're asking ourselves what will be needed to transform newsrooms for gender equality. Of course, trying to ask ourselves what can we do to be able to shatter the ceiling, the glass ceiling, and be able to increase the number of women in our newsrooms, and how that can be able to promote gender equality in that particular sense. Like I mentioned earlier on, outside of this particular studio, we are joined virtually through the power of technology by Patience Nyanje. Patience Nyanje, after this show, we should actually invite you over to Rwanda and give you a district. That name is so Rwandese. I don't know if people usually tell you that. But thank you.
Pronounce it Nyange.
Nyange, aha. So they say Nyange, Nyanje. So almost close. Oh, thank you very much for joining us. She's actually a media and communications advisor, and all the way in Nairobi, Kenya. Thank you for joining us. Here in studio, we have Honette Isimbi, and she's actually the executive director of the Rwanda Female Journalists Association, RFEM. She'll be telling us a bit more about what that particular organization or association is doing to be able to try and transform our newsroom for gender equality. Thank you so much, Honette, for joining us.
Thank you.
You said it's your first time.
Yes, it is my first time.
And it's going to be the best first time ever, I promise.
Thank you.
All right. We also have none other than Jean-Paul Ibambe, who's actually the Senior Capacity Development Officer at the Legal Aid Forum. Thank you so much for making time to join us on the program.
Well, thank you very much. Only you forgot to mention that I'm a lawyer.
Oh, and a legal expert. It goes without saying.
Yeah, you
Legal Aid Forum already, you must be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this program.
A lawyer and a former journalist.
And a former journalist.
Exactly.
We should remove former. Once journalist, always one.
Yes.
Also joining us right here on this particular program is a very amazing lady. She's been in this profession close to 30 years.
32.
32. You know, it's almost my entire life. They say I should not say my age, but it's almost my entire life. And she's none other than Solange Ayanone, who's actually a veteran journalist and a trainer. Thank you so much for making time. And I want us to just start this conversation from that particular note. And I think I'll start with you, Solange. 30 years, over 30 years actually, this is 32 years. Give us a sense of the feel of our newsrooms. You've seen the evolution, you've seen the transformation, and we're here sitting in this particular forum trying to understand what we need to do to ensure that we have more Solanges in our newsrooms. But then the question is, does it really matter whether it's a woman journalist or a male journalist for us to be able to advocate for gender equality?
Thank you very much. Since 1992, when I reached the newsroom, and up to date, I see a big difference in terms of gender, because when I entered in media, still women were few compared to men. It was a totally industry dominated by men. But today, we see some women, the number of women is increasing compared to when I entered in media. That is a big change since that period to up to now. And also the technology, like the ICT, allowed women to do or to improve their ways of work, which was not the case. It allowed women to show what they are able to do, like men, which was not the case. So the IT, the technology contributed to empower women and to show that they can do what men do. That is also another big difference compared to when I entered in media. And also we have some few women owners of some media houses, which was not the case. And also the diversity in terms of media houses allowed women to have opportunity to work as journalists, which was not the case when I entered in media. Only radio, national radio, Radio Rwanda, in that period, we had only one radio and one TV. I think came in 1993, and the second channel. So all journalists, they used to work for the public media, like Arabia today. So now we have many radios, we have many TV. All of the diversity in terms of media houses allowed women to have opportunity to work as journalists, which was not the case when I was there.
Started,
Yes, however, many gender gaps are still in
We'll come to that.
Yes.
We'll come to that. Thank you for giving us that historical background on that sense. Jean-Paul, I'm not going to come to you. We're going to first start with the ladies, like we've always been talking about mothers. Ladies first
here.
Isimbi, I want to hear your thoughts, because we've heard from Solange giving us a background of the transition from the time she joined to today, over 32 years ago. What are the milestones? What's the state of affairs? Is the situation as bad as some people might want to feel in terms of the gender representation or inclusivity in terms of women and men within newsrooms?
Yeah, so thank you very much. I think the situation is not as bad as it was. There have been some changes, but we should put it at the back of our minds that there is something that needs to be done about the spaces, the involvement in talking about gender perspective, talking about gender equality, equity. We all know that journalism or media is a male-dominated industry, and it has been quite hard for the women to actually scale up to the next level. I recently conducted a study with research with the RFM, and we noticed that institutions, media houses do not have gender policies, and if they do not know what the importance of those gender policies. They do not consider having women in leadership positions, in management positions in those media houses. So that's really part of the problem, because their voices are not being heard. There's probably one woman in a number of, I don't know, seven leaders in the management positions. And if there's just one woman, then her voice is not amplified. Her voice is not echoed. to understand the problems women are facing.
So you want to say even the he for she's have not been able to serve that purpose?
Unfortunately, some researches have been conducted, we are below the constitution quota of 30%, which is not fair, because as any other industry, as any other sector, I think we should think about involving women, involving them, enhancing their skills, and also helping them to get further.
Yeah.
You know, thinking about a conducive environment, thinking about how we can work together to make it better for her. It's not a privilege to be a woman, it's actually a right.
It is a right.
Yes.
I'm going to come back to you, Jean-Paul. I've not forgotten about you. Let me cross over to Nairobi, if you may allow, and go to Patience, who's joining us via way of Skype, and just bring her in on this particular conversation. Patience, I want to read your thoughts. You have been able to work for both local media and international media, and I want to read your perspective on the aspect of gender mainstreaming within newsrooms, both locally and internationally. What has been the evolution? Are we in a bad state? What has been the growth trajectory in that space?
Well, Jen, thank you so much for the opportunity to have this engagement tonight. I'm very happy to be in a conversation that how we can transform for gender equality. So from my experience, you said working in Kenya and also internationally, I worked for the Norwegian Corporation in Norway. I've also worked for a global organization, the British Broadcasting, so BBC actually in Kenya. Looking at the two, I think it's very, especially when you look at North and other maybe countries, more women work in newsrooms, more newsrooms in American area, or many men, easier for them to work as will be. So I think transforming this equality will involve the implementation of various strategies and initiatives aimed at first addressing the disparity in staffing, a very key thing to do.
Yeah.
We have to look at the culture.
Patience,
So we're looking at.
Sorry, Patience, I'm really struggling to hear. There's just a bit of clipping. What I would recommend is probably you could plug the earpiece on your phone, and then we can use the phone audio to hear you, because the video is very stable. And then we're going to come back to you, because what you're saying is very key, and we'd love to hear that. Jean-Paul, I'm going to come back to you now. We have heard from the ladies speaking about their own perspectives in what they've been able to witness over years. And we've been speaking about the aspect of the numbers, the ratios of male to female in terms of the leadership positions. And I want to hear from you, what happened to the aspect of allies, what happened to the he for she's, even with the state of affairs where we have more men in leadership positions within media spaces, why is it that it has been still difficult to ensure that the rights and the needs of the woman in the newsroom are actually attended to?
Well, thank you very much for the question. Before even we come to the policies, other initiatives that have been there, let's start even from our constitution. Yeah. So if you look at our constitution from its preamble, issues to do with equality between women and men are provided for among our fundamental rights under the constitution. Things to do with equality between women and men, dealing with discrimination. She has been mentioning even she has been even mentioning the quota that is provided for by the constitution. But if you refer to the research that has been conducted, you find that as of the recent research has revealed that in the media you have 23% of female practicing journalism. in general, as opposed to men journalists who are over 70-something.
Yes.
So the issue, if you look at the research that have been conducted, we are not, of course, meeting the quota, the requirements that are over there within our provisions. That is one. But why do we have those issues? One of the research, because we, as the Legal Aid Forum, we conducted one of the research, and it was about the status of freedom of expression and access to information in Rwanda. And of the issues we analyzed was issues to do with gender within our media. So you will find that of the reason why we still having that gender imbalance is, one, there is issues to do with the finance or financial constraints, because our media is not paying.
But Jean-Paul, I've heard that a lot. It now sounds like a broken record. So what do we do about it? Are we going to continue to stay like this?
Well, of course, we will need just to do things different. We will need just to do different, but we need to deal with media viability. You see, because if you look at maybe how women maybe fear to suffer or to struggle with financial difficulties. So that is one of the reasons. So the second one is harassment within our media sector. Both in newsroom but outside, even because I'm from the Legal Aid Forum, so we have some cases where we assist journalists, female journalists who were attacked, harassed because they are just female. So that is also one of the contributing factors to why we have this situation. But also we have issues to do with our culture background. You see, journalism is all about going out there. Maybe let's have an example of investigative journalism that requires maybe to be like a person who is at some point different from from maybe the normal behavior, if I can say. So you find women, maybe some of the women are fearing maybe to enter the industry because of the nature of the profession, the journalism. And what is surprising is that if you look at, even if you go back to the school of journalism, you find female students are many as opposed to men students. But when they get out, so people who maybe are trying just to enter the industry, you find men are willing to join the industry as opposed to female journalists. So you will find there are some challenges that maybe are affecting female when they join the industry,
and it discourages them.
And of course, she mentioned about maybe the issue of that most of the media houses do not have gender policy within their media houses. That is also one of the issues, because if you do not have a policy, you will find that there is, you don't have like a starting point as to how you are going to deal with those imbalances. But it is not even in the media or media practitioners. Because from our report that I was referring to, we have identified that beyond media practitioners, even if you look at the content, the coverage, you will find people from the content or from what the media or the journalists are doing. You will find that interviewees are men. We have more men being interviewed as opposed to female. So like there is gender imbalance even in the content. And maybe we'll come to that as to see what can be done to deal with that.
Agreed. And thank you for unpacking all that. But Solange, I want to hear also from you. The 32 years, And going by what Jean-Paul has said, and also what we've heard from Honette, it must have been very difficult for you, first of all, being a woman within the space that is considered male-dominated. What are those things? What is that experience that you'll never forget, that almost made you quit, but you still said, no, I'm going to continue because of the calling?
It's when I had the baby, and I was the only woman among 10 correspondents of the national radio in provinces. It was in it was in provinces, and they invited one woman in a trip in Burkina Faso, and it was a training of women, and I was the only woman among 10. Even to be a representative of Renfort in that period in a province, I was the first female representing the radio in province, because before me it was only men. So, and even to be given that position, I struggled, because they say no one before you represented the national radio in the province. How a woman can be in that position? And it was still a dangerous zone, because it was still insecure in terms of our changes. Those people, infiltrators, and the men refused even to go there in Musanze. And I say, me, I can go there? They say, how? Even men, they don't like to go there. I say, no, me, I want to go there. Say, no, go and ask your husband, and because we don't know if he will accept. I said, no, me, I will go. Then I went, and to have that position, I had to show that I'm able. Then that trip came, and I was the only woman, and I had a baby of 2 months.
At that time?
Yes, and the boss told me, Solange, you see, the Rwanda has to be represented. Because it was in 1995, it was just after the genocide. The Rwanda wanted to show another image of the country. And I say, I have a baby. And UNICEF, that funded the trip, didn't provide financial support to bring a child with me. I said, I have a baby. They say, no explanation about the baby. Either Rwanda is represented or Rwanda is not. So I talked to my husband that I have to go. Say, you leave the baby? Say, I have to leave. And he was not at home. I called my mother-in-law. I said, you have to come here to take care of the baby. I have to travel. Say, huh? You have to travel and you leave the baby. I said, yes, I have to leave the baby. Because I said, if I didn't go, no other woman would be given an opportunity like that. And the others were men. So I went. And it was a trip of 3 weeks. It was not even for 2 days or 3 weeks. I went. Then after 3 weeks, when I came back, the baby refused to
feed.
You know, So I didn't forget that experience. And I cannot encourage maybe other women to do so. But what I want to say here is that this profession, if you want to stay in this profession as a woman, you have to sacrifice many things. Either your family life, either your pride, many things. You have to be well positioned in this industry as a woman. You have to double efforts
but Solange,
than men.
Why should it be like that in the 21st century? Why should it continue to be a sacrifice?
Yes, because as I have said, it's an industry dominated by men. And men are not ready to share not all, the responsibility they have. They are the owner of big TV, big radio station. And a woman, to show that she's able, is that woman who is stubborn, who has to show that I'm there, I'm also, I can do, who has always some complaints.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why not me?
Yeah.
So if not,
not
the
get the
gender
space.
roles, gender roles we have in our family are brought also in the newsroom.
Offices and newsrooms.
There is a study conducted by African women in media in 2020, barriers faced by female journalists in sub-Sahara, and we had respondents from Rwanda.
Yeah.
That study showed that there are like 5 reasons why female journalists are not progressing in media or are not staying in media.
Yeah.
One of the reasons was the distribution of the tasks. The way the tasks are distributed is also in terms of gender. If you entered in media, if you don't show that I can do sports, they will always give you health, education,
lifestyle.
Yes, because they say women are good for taking care of. It's not soft as such, but why a man cannot do a health program or a fashion or a cooking show? Why not? Because they consider that men are good for politics, ICT, economics.
So come sit here.
Yeah.
You can host this show. We continue.
No, economics. It's kind of, you see?
Yeah.
And they also consider the face. If you come, you are beautiful, they say, you will present news. And news presenters, sometimes they are not given opportunity to do, to make a story. They read stories made by others. If they want an editor, they will not choose among the news presenters. They will choose among those senior journalists who know the field, who can correct the. You see, they consider women as good for some things, not for others.
Other things.
So, and those gender, the background he was talking about is still there in media. So, there is another problem is also the matching the family life
with the work
and the professional life. That is really a big challenge women are facing. We have many female journalists at the beginning who are not yet married. Then when they got married, they disappear. Because their husband say, you are not at home in the weekend. You are not at home on the holidays. In the evening, like now, you are in your So which kind of a woman are you? There are men who are, no, at least you stay here. You take care of kids. I will give you the 1,000, the 2,000, 200,000 they are giving you. We have many female journalists who were good at the beginning, but after getting married, they disappeared because their husbands are not collaborative on that. So we are in a society where people were raised like that. So that one comes also in the newsroom. The lack of the gender policy Onet was talking about is a big challenge because today you can have an editor, a director who is gender sensitive, but tomorrow when he is no longer, you will not have those facilities, that support that will allow you to progress. Another reason is the job stagnation. Women are not promoted equally than men.
Than the men.
Yeah, because for a man, for men, it's like automatic. They know that men are able. They have been working in this media for a long time. But for a woman, you have to show that you are able. But
you have to work extra.
Yeah, those are.
I'm going to come back to that, and it's very unfortunate that we still experience that. Super producer Bruce, you can let me know if we have Patience back so that we can rope her back into this conversation. Thank you. Patience, thank you for hanging in there despite that sound challenge, but I'm sure you've been hearing the submissions by Solange, you've heard from Jean-Paul, and I'd asked you earlier on, your own experience working for international media, working for local media, are these problems just home-bound? What's the situation like? And also listening to what they've said, what's your personal experience yourself also as a lady within this considered male-dominated space based on what you've heard from the previous speakers?
Well, thank you so much, Eugene. And I'm sorry that we had a challenge, but I feel the challenge. still using my earphone. There's an echo. So let me know if you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. I said if you can develop countries and maybe
no, we can't hear you. Patience, really sad. We can't. We could make the phone call and rope you in, and I'm sure that can be done. While we do that, Honette, this particular association of female journalists here in Rwanda, definitely some people would say maybe the reason has also been most upcoming journalists, female journalists, have not had enough role models to be able to tell them or to show them that it's possible. And so I'm assuming this association should have or should be doing that role modeling, having the women coming together and forming the association. Has there been a laxity in achieving that goal? What has been the journey like? Maybe you could be able to tell us so that we can be able to understand for the female upcoming journalists, should they be hearing the journey that Solange has gone through and saying, no, I don't think I'm cut out for this, let me look for something else? Or should they be saying, look, we can do this, it's possible?
Yeah, so thank you. Yeah, I like what Solange mentioned because she's speaking out of experience. She has been through this process and she knows the challenges that have been in this industry. Yeah. And as for our firm, we are planning to have a mentorship program where we invite seasoned journalists to actually help or support, the word is support, journalists or aspiring journalists in the academic spaces, in different schools, so that they can be more comfortable, understand what challenges are happening or they're facing in the industry. So, yeah, she mentioned there's a gender pay gap. There's most people who are in, most students who are in journalism would opt to go for communication jobs because...
And going to the newsroom.
Yeah, then going to the newsroom because, yes, there's a lot of, should I say injustice? There's no equality. There's no equality. There's no, you need to actually be very assertive. You need to push yourself to have a seat on the table. Yeah. So if we can work together to have more women who are in the journalism sector, more women support and also help journalists.
We can see a change.
Yeah, we can see a change. And also, thinking of that as well, we should have, I think it would be better if we had gender audits in the media houses, in the media organizations, to see if actually the policies that we have been sharing, be it the gender policy, be it the anti-sexual harassment policy that we have internally in the media houses, like have audits so that what was discussed, then, you know, that would help them feel more safe and also think about, like what Solange said, it's really a sad story that she had to leave her baby, who was 3 months old, 2 months old, sorry, 2 months old, and go to Burkina Faso, and there was no, like,
no bargaining, no discussion.
No discussion, but also nothing to help her, nothing to help her through her journey. I would suggest that in this era, in 2024, let's think about being gender sensitive. Let's think about escorting a woman throughout her pregnancy. Like, have a nursing room in the media houses, have catering for a woman who's pregnant, who has to go for a certain mission outside the country or even inside the country to different districts, like cater for them. I think most organizations have started to do that, but let's be intentional about it.
I want to ask you an intentional question.
Yes.
Especially on the things you've said are lacking. One, are the gender policies. 2, the gender audits. And of course, 3, looking at those facilities that would be able to be, provide a conducive environment for the woman in the newsrooms. So what is being done then to fix them? Because for me, I expect that these associations are also some sort of pressure groups to be able to push for these things to happen. So what is happening within the spaces of these associations like the one you are in terms of piling the pressure either on media owners or regulatory institutions, policy makers?
Yeah, so like I said, we need to do more advocacy on it, on the issues around. I also mentioned that we went to different media houses to check if they had gender policies. Our next step is to follow up. Like, let's hold ourselves accountable for what we want to achieve. Yeah.
Okay. I'll ask the lawyer before you come. I want to hear from a legal perspective, because here either it's hot or cold.
Yeah.
Either you're doing it as per the law or you're not. Yes. And if you're not, there are consequences. What has failed in pursuing or pushing for the full implementation of these things that should be done within the business operation within our environments? Why have we not been able to pile the pressure to ensure that their policies are there? And even when they do the trips and the tours, whatever they find and they find that this is not there, something is done so that at least there's action on those who are failing.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm not in agreement that maybe our policies and laws are very okay within the this issue, as to deal with this issue. Because if you look at the current media policy, so its provisions in regards to gender sensitivity, we are lacking something. But for your information, the government of Rwanda is about to adopt a new media policy. And one of the key recommendations or issues that will be dealt within the new media policy that is going to be adopted is to deal with this gender gap or inequality within our media sector, but also in terms of the content, how the media is dealing with that. And of course, what we are doing, because I belong also to the civil society or associations, so we've been supporting the drafting of the policy as to consider all those issues along with other issues.
So what you're promising someone watching tonight is there's going to be a policy, guideline on pay gaps.
Yes.
There'll be a guideline on ensuring all media houses have gender policy.
Gender policy. And for your information, that one, because we went further as to see how we can even materialize some of the provision within the draft policy. And currently we are revising the code of ethics for media practitioners in Rwanda, because it wasn't capturing these gender-related issues too. So like the draft code of ethics will impose to all media houses at least to have the gender policies. And of course there will be monitoring or enforcement tools as to see if really preach that media houses, what they have committed when registering a media house or how they are managing media houses, at least they are trying to be more gender sensitive as opposed to the current or previous situation.
Right.
So maybe, well, we are in a very bad situation, but maybe
the future is bright.
Exactly.
Right. Solange, I'm going to come to you, but I want to just know if we have Patience back, because I want to confirm if we have her. Bruce, do we have Patience back so that we can be able to rope her back into this particular conversation? Patience, if we have Patience back. Bruce, are you there? Or are you enjoying the show? All right, Patience, just let's check one more time, and sincere apologies. We didn't anticipate for this, but if you can hear me, I would love to hear your thoughts. You just throw in your weight on the conversation as it is so far.
Yeah, thank you so much for the engagement. I still feel we still have but well, as I say, I understand all discussing here across country, in all the countries. I feel like I'm listening to those conversations and I feel like conversations. So I want to believe we all have to see that we can like the way he said, the point around gender equal pay, comes to gender equal practices. We have to be very clear how we, address gender disparity in staffing when it comes to knowledge, leadership, workplace culture. It has to. This is it's a culture that encourages women to be there and to be the equal, members in the newsrooms, for example. When we think about this development program, we have to think about development programs designed to support advancement of newsrooms. Most of the time we have Congress, but how about providing mentorship, coaching, or training opportunities to help women develop skills, the confidence to get those leadership roles?
Right.
The Aga School of Journalism in Kenya recently launched a report, and in that report, that it has been discussed here. I was looking at one of the things that they looked at, how many women are in the newsroom, for example. Gender representation in the newsrooms in East African newsrooms. But we looked at 3 countries: Kenya, Rwanda, and Tanzania. Primetime news occurred by women, in Kenya, it was 3%. Uganda, it was 4%. Tanzania, 5%. But when we look at editorial content, for example, written by women, in Kenya, it dropped significantly, to 16%. Uganda has, while Tanzania has 54%. So you're looking at it, is there an effect of, some years ago or something like that? Maybe.
Yeah. Thank you, Patience. Thank you, Patience. We still, we can get some of what you're saying, but the others which are very key that we're not really getting. I wish we could just call you on phone and just have you on the phone instead of struggling with the Skype. It would have worked if we can do that. But thank you so much for staying with us. Solange, I want to come back to you. You wanted to chip in. Now, I want to know the way forward. Jean-Paul says we could be in a sad situation as we speak. Yes, progress is being made, but the future looks brighter. Can we talk to that female journalist watching us tonight who probably is giving up on this? Who has been told journalism, you, a woman, a lady, you'll never get a husband because the profession is considered to be people who cheat, they don't stay in one relationship, they can't stay at home. And they want to hear tonight if they are actually making the right choice as per their career or they're making a wrong choice. What would you be telling them as far as the way forward is concerned?
What I can say is that this profession is for those who really let's use a word that is used in church, who are called.
Called, it's a calling.
It's not, it's not for people who are coming to get money or to be rich, because you can be rich, but it takes time. You have to build your brand, to build your name, like Kanangwe, we know you, the way you moderate this show is... we know that if I need a moderator, I will call you because I see the way you do it and others. So it's not something that is done in one night or in a few days. But nowadays we see young journalists, they want to be rich quickly. And they think that in India they can be rich. They want to be on TV. They don't want to write. So I can talk to them by saying that they have to work hard. That's first. And second, they have also to know that this profession, it gives you opportunity. Opportunities to other doors will be open for you, but it's not something you can get
overnight.
You have to work and build your career. Then people will know you for what you are able to do. And also, if you don't like this profession, better you choose another one. Because if you don't like, you will not stay. You will meet one challenge like the one I met of leaving a baby or another one. Then you will give up. So if you have to love this profession. If you don't love it, better you choose to be business people to work in banks or where
sell ice cream.
Where working hours are known. It's for 9 to 5. But if you want to stay in this media, make sure that you love it.
Yeah.
And also for young journalists, I like to tell them that they have to talk with their partners, the nature of this profession. I will be absent. Are you able to take the kid to the vaccination?
Yeah.
I will be absent for like 5 days. Are you able to go to the school if they call you?
Yeah.
Because nowadays we know that men, they don't like to go to the school. They send their wives to why not them? Yeah. So you have to talk to your partner so that he is collaborative, can collaborate with you and support you when you are absent. Yeah. And also, finally, we'll talk to media owners that they have to create conditions that are suitable for both men and women. In terms of money, if a man can go like you and Ango, you can go, then you come back in the evening without money, and the wife, when the wife will ask why you didn't bring money, you will be on defensive. But it can't happen for women. A man will say, you went for a whole week, your husband, you didn't bring even 1,000, so better you stay here. But it's not the case. I'm talking about gender issues for men. So if the condition, the financial situation is not improved in the media, we see few female journalists who will stay. Right. And also they have, they like the mentorship program with RFM. Is good because when we go in universities, we talk with them those realities, and they decide I stay or I leave. Yeah. And also, finally, the society has also to understand that in the family, we have to raise our children, both boys and men, equally, and to tell them that if you like something, you can do. If you are a boy, if you are a man, you can do anything. Yeah. So that when you will grow up, you will be able to, you will be confident to do any job, even if you don't see female or male colleagues. So you should not discourage them because of that. Yes. I like that. I like that. How about you, Jean-Paul? Where do we go from here? What do we do so that the next time we're seated in this room, we are not talking about lack of gender policies and media owners flaunting rules left, right, and center, probably the way they want?
Okay. Thank you. Maybe we need to have some strategies as to deal with issues that are hindering female journalists to stay in the industry. Yeah. And one of the findings, as I mentioned, we have issues to do with sexual harassment, not only within the media houses, but also outside there. We've seen some female journalists who have been attacked by even the public. Now that we are in the social media or IT era, if I can say. So like the things are going lost. So we need to deal with that within our laws, maybe so that you can make sure that if a journalist is harassed, is attacked, whether it's a male or a female, but especially when it is a female journalist, at least the suspect, the offender has to be dealt with. Responsible. Yes, because we have to deal with issues of impunity. We've seen
I'd like to hear you say you commit. Jean-Paul, I'd like to hear you say, I commit as a lawyer. If you're out there as a lady and you've ever been harassed sexually, I'll represent you for free.
Yes, of course. That
so we have see more coming and opening up in that.
Yeah, we have such services offering free or pro bono legal services to journalists in general. That is one. Secondly, we have also to empower our female journalists, because she was mentioning how she managed to stay within the industry despite the issues or the challenges she was facing. So we need to build capacities of our female journalists as to stay within the industry, as to deal with those challenges, including sexual harassment.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah. I'm told we need to go. I always say it's the shortest 1 hour. I want to hear from you just real quick, Isimbi, just very quick, under a minute. And, what should we do moving forward? What's the way forward from what we've talked today? If we were to remember anything tonight from the show, what would it be?
Like my colleagues have mentioned, all that, but also building their capacity.
Yeah.
It's not just about what we offer, but have them do it for themselves.
Right.
Yeah, like build their brand, like Solange mentioned.
It has to grow.
Yes.
Mushambo Robert on YouTube says, within those three guests, how can they elaborate more on the matter of who censors more of information than the other, male or female? If not, then? If not, who then? It's a very interesting question. I think on the matter of reporting, no one is beyond, unless if it comes to matters of being truthful, but financing that gender females is necessary at most. Thank you so much for these particular comments. You're talking about the issue of parity, inclusion financially and culturally in terms of values, and of course, these things that we need to build up on. I think this is very important, and I want to say thank you because of time. I always say it's the shortest 1 hour. It's the shortest 1 hour. Patience. I really want to say that we will have a rematch with you, and you'll be able to come back, I think, in the next show, which we are planning to do, because throughout this month, we're actually putting a focus or a spotlight on gender equality matters, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to have you on, and we'll be able to sort out some of those challenges we've had with you. But to all of you who've been watching us from the time we started, Murakoze Chane, thank you very much for being a part of this program. As always, my name is Eugene. And Nangwe. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much. Merci. Thank you very much. Yeah, normally we have a small challenge.